Over the month of March, my wife and I have been listening to the audible version of Will. Now, I had a feeling that I was in a real treat if I committed to Will Smith narrating his own life rather than me generating my own experiences inside my imagination. And boy, was I right. Now, if you read this book before Will's shocking outburst, then it comes as no surprise that the slap heard around the world is not shocking, but an expected result from years of Will being a pleaser and self-appointed coward due to his upbringing. What's up, everybody? Welcome for the first time or back to another Deshaun Johnson video where we discuss teaching, writing, how to make internet money in these areas, and other things related. And as a writer, I was curious to consume the Mark Manson-assisted Will Memoir for Mark's writing style delivered by Will's stellar performance in audio form. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that you cannot listen to the audiobook around your children if you have kids. There should be a parental advisory sticker on the Audible graphic to his book, as Will Smith unflinchingly just drops F-bombs and other profanities to give the reader what I assume the real story. Now, I also took his cursing as a subtle, indirect, just F you to his critics and haters who dismissed the actor as corny, lame, and a square because he never shared in their debased form of presentation and performance. Now, he does not say this explicitly in his audiobook that he is going to swear, but because of this reason, I'm sure he feels just like that. Now, the book opens up with the brick wall story, where Will Smith and his brother, I believe when they were about 12 years old, and if I'm incorrect about that, please correct me, and they're instructed to help their father build a wall. And as young boys, this task is extremely overwhelming, causing them to grunt, complain, dread about it, about just building it, like, oh, we gotta build this wall, this is gonna take forever, and they just spend most of their days just depressed that it will never get finished. Until Daddy-O, as Will Smith lovingly describes his father, just magically intervenes in and just their boohoo fest, telling them to
stop thinking about the damn wall. There is no wall. There are only bricks. Your job is to lay this brick perfectly, then move on to the next brick, then lay that brick perfectly, then the next one. Don't be worrying about no wall. Your only concern is one brick.
After this, young Willard receives his light bulb moment, transforming from impossible Will to the anything is possible Will we grew to love and know today. Now, I personally thought that this opener is perfect, setting the tone for how Will views his father, his work ethic, other challenges throughout his life. Will's father is a dominating presence and a source for the people-pleasing Will that his fans are witnessing today. And from that narrative, Will's aggressive dad, who was a successful entrepreneur and domestic abuser, calls Will to develop a strong desire to always please his father. We'll see some of these behaviors just coming up in his relationships and other things in his life. Now, his mother, on the other hand, was a super educated woman who fits the strong, educated black woman trope that is celebrated today, seems to have been the perfect complement to his father. However, their relationship is a perfect example why two headstrong people don't always equal a strong marital foundation. There was quite a bit of abuse that the children had to witness, which Will Smith uses to place his siblings and himself in these three categories. The distant one, who would lash out, his sister; the brave one, his younger brother; and the coward, Will Smith himself. Now, Will Smith feels responsible for their parents fighting, that if he would have done more, performed a little bit better, made somebody smile, shuck and jive just a little bit, just been a better son, that these disputes would not happen. You know, it's heartbreaking stuff given the recent events this week and the past 2 years on a Red Table Talk with this whole entanglement saga. But his parents' struggles would be internalized by Will, self-carrying this burden throughout his life, only for the listener to go, why doesn't this guy get real therapy, as they listen to Will narrate himself to an Oscar performance. But instead of real help, you will be subjected to Will piling on achievement after achievement in his vain pursuit to medicate his internal issues with external rewards. I think a problem that we all share to some degree. The main theme of Will's life is cowardice that really isn't deserved, but Will appoints himself with this because of all his childhood circumstances. Instead of addressing this flaw head on, Will continues to bury the root of his problems with pure, unrestrained work ethic, as he says in his book, which has served him well in his acting career, but now we're starting to see these deep roots give way to fully ripe, rotten fruits. Now, Jada's entanglement behavior, it's not the first time that Will has had to endure this. Now, as I was listening to his years as the Fresh Prince, I thought to myself, oh, this has happened before. Now, unfortunately, his first living girlfriend, even before his first marriage to his first wife, Cherie, was unfortunately sharing herself with another light-skinned man. A man who is light-skinned just like Will Smith is. It's funny because Will Smith talks about how much he hates the pretty light-skinned guys as if he himself is dark-skinned. Anyway, I digress. This situation foreshadows what we have seen go down on in the Red Table Talk between him, Jada, and August Alsina. Now again, we see Will saying, if I would have done more, achieved more, made more money, then she wouldn't have cheated on me. This being said from a guy who had won his first Grammy and several breakout singles with Parents Just Don't Understand, among others. Now, I don't remember Will Smith actually saying this, but he becomes more like his father, magnified without all the abuse and the tough love. Will's father knew how to work hard being a provider in the sense of clothes on your back, roof over your head, and food on the table. You know, all the classic supports. However, Will is a stark parallel to this where he's providing, but it's a luxury lifestyle that he thinks everyone wants, but no one really needs. I'm not gonna lie to you, the audio production on this is immaculate. This audio version is highly entertaining and an engaging listen, and Smith's ability to play several voices, from his bodyguard Charlie to his dad to even Nelson Mandela, it's enthralling and tantalizing. It's amazing. Now, there are sound effects placed appropriately that aren't distracted, but add to the experience, and he allows the listener to relive moments with him, including old audio from his church that his grandmother attended and he went with her, and when his single Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble hit the radio. You get to just really go down memory lane and just have this back experience with Will Smith. Again, Will knows how to deliver a performance, and that's prevalent throughout the whole entire audio edition. However, my only gripe is when he is making observations about the world, he always does so with this childlike wonder, which is either weird, unrealistic, inspiring, or welcoming. You pick one. But to me, it just comes off as over philosophizing his life and how he sees the human condition, among other things. But don't get me wrong, it makes for great entertainment, but I couldn't help but really feel, is this really real? Now the question is, does Will have this same childlike wonder when he's referring to God by himself? Well, my answer to that is going to be no. Yet, however, and this is a big one, when he speaks on his grandmother and the only vessel in his family he felt he genuinely experienced the love of the Lord, then it comes off magical. So it has to connect and relate to this human experience more than anything else. But if it was something just strangely esoteric or just occultic or weird, then the childlike wonder returned. Now, there's a lot that I did not cover in this little review overview, or whatever you want to call this right now. I didn't want to really spoil anything too much because there are details you're going to have to hear for yourself, such as how his big mouth earned him a trip to the hospital with a busted mouth, and I believe that happened during his freshman year of high school, if I remember correctly. I'm not actually done with the book all the way yet. I'm close to the end. And there's another detail on how his son Trey wanted to name Jaden Luigi, because Trey at the time when Jaden was born, he was really into Super Mario Kart 64, and he was totally engaged with that. Now, if we suspend our disbelief of any Scientology connections, Illuminati rituals, or any other occultic affiliations, this book does bring a lot of clarity in terms of his erratic behavior and the range of emotion he has shown at the Oscars. Staged or real, we'll never know. This is Will Smith, and Will Smith is Hollywood. Now, in that description below, you can apply to Audible and begin a trial version. This is not an affiliate link, but if enough people are interested, trust me, it will be in the future. But I just thought it'd be really important to share my viewpoint and what I've actually experienced listening to Will.